So the day has finally come. The highly anticipated and long awaited Hollow Knight Silksong. I would be lying if I had to say that I was excited for this or I was really waiting on this one, because I wasn't. I kind of tried the first one and that's about it. And I'm here to try the second one to see if there's something more and maybe I can get hooked into this franchise. I'm really a latecomer to this party because I tried Hollow Knight, the first one, for the first time in 2024 on Game Pass. And here we go with the sequel, again launching day one into Game Pass, and I'm out here trying it again. And it makes me think of a quote from Jens Anderson, the design director on Bethesda's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, who says that players jump in and out, within 5 minutes if they're not feeling the game. He was talking about the difficulties of launching a game onto a platform like Game Pass. And ultimately, I feel this is the fundamental value proposition that Game Pass gives. There's nothing out there in the market right now that compares. But that being said, I believe a game like Hollow Knight has already an established audience. And it's those players that will be coming back again. And even if it didn't have an established player base, I believe every game will eventually find its player. Anyway, not to worry, this is not one of those videos, this is not a rant. I just tried the game and I got to one of these bosses, I think it's called the Bell Beast, and I had a pretty hard time defeating the thing, and I eventually did, and I thought maybe I could do a quick little how-to for anyone out there who might be struggling. So here we go. Okay, so hopefully you saved at this resting point right here, which is just below where you actually go and fight this Bell Beast, because it'll just make it easier for retries. As you can see, I died and I collected my stuff again. So I'm gonna pause it here just to explain the best strategy that worked for me. So you gotta stand more or less in between these two bells here, if you see on the screen, and this will ensure that for the most part you're just gonna be doing very little in terms of just jumping and avoiding the initial attacks from this beast. Now there is some pattern to the attacks, however it does get mixed up a little bit, so you may find that your one try he'll be jumping more frequently or he'll be dashing more frequently. Okay, so to avoid the dash attack, you just need to jump up and to the side a little and then sort of land back to where you were. And for his jumping attack, he'll give a roar as a signal just before he does it. That way you can tell the difference between the jump and the dash, and all you need to do is just sort of step slightly out the way, and once he hits the ground again, you run towards him and you put in a few strikes, and this is basically the only time when you can attack him. If you time it well, you can get in 3 attacks at least with every opportunity, or you can use 2 attacks and 1 thrust attack as the last attack. After you've dealt him roughly around 9 attacks, he'll start doing this diving up from the ground and throwing these balls at you, which are pretty easy to avoid as you see there. What's key is always coming back to that spot in between those 2 bells. Just gotta have patience and bide your time and keep getting those attacks in consistently without taking damage. Eventually you will hit him at this point and he will start coming up from the ground and he'll start changing up the attacks. So now the roof is what you need to watch. You'll see these sort of streams of debris falling, followed by these steel bells, and there wasn't any real tactic I had for them, but I found the best point was to run more to the ends of the stage, and it seemed to be where I could dodge them a lot easier. Okay, now is where things get a bit tricky. So when he pops out the ground this time and throws the balls, you'll see the roof again has got those debris streams coming down. So you need to watch for falling bells as well. And this one is really a bit tricky. You can't return to the center as often as you would have been able to with previous attacks. And in addition, when he does the dive attack, where you can actually get some strikes in when he lands, there will also be falling debris from the roof, so you need to watch for that as well. Okay, and that's about it to the entire strategy. You just gotta bide your time again, stick with it, make sure you're roughly in the center in between the two barrels. Listen for the audio cues of when he's about to do the dive, where you can actually get him and land some attacks on him, and that's it.